Big D and Bubba have a show 5 days a week.
So bad.
They don't get to say everything that's on their mind, so they have an extra one.
Yeah.
And that's how we get the podcast.
I so regret doing
The
this.
podcast.
It's the best.
Podcast is how we get the podcast.
This is like Pearl Jam in their prime.
No, sure.
Podcast.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Very Eddie Vedder.
I think
I can
Patrick singing-
understand Patrick, so there's a
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it was
That
Eddie Vedder,
nice.
it'd be more like.
Well, it was
Hey,
kind of like that.
Big D and Bubba.
No, because I'm still
kinda
not sure.
As we are here in the O'Reilly Auto Parts studio, O'Reilly Auto Parts, your professional parts people, you're probably wondering why, Bubba? Why did
Why
you
did
play
use
that
the
one?
tragedy podcast?
It's
theme?
not really the tragedy. It's always been the sad one. I don't know what to call it, but the reason I did it is because today is really coincidental. Today is Friday the 13th. This is episode 413.
What?
I know.
Crazy.
I know, right?
Bubba acts like he's 13.
I have the mental capacity of a 13-year-old. Yeah, it's crazy. So I was like, oh, yeah, that we got to go with that intro
right.
today. That's the one.
I thought you were going to say it's because Lisa Marie Presley died.
And because Lisa
There
Marie
you go.
Presley died.
Big D
Okay,
and Bubba.
stop. It's so bad. Make it stop. Every time I hear
Well,
it,
she
I'm
looked rough
so.
at the awards.
Yeah.
Yeah,
let me-
those
let me-
pictures.
Let me do the pickle jar thing, make sure everybody knows about that. And then, yeah, definitely there's something to talk about there. If you're looking around for, helping out with tips, or maybe if you're in a band or you want to tip a band, or you just want to check out merch or anything like that, you got to check out Pickle Jar because they do it all. They've got the you can even buy tickets to shows and sell tickets to shows if you're, having people out to a party or doing something. I mean, they've got all kinds of cool things you can do with the Pickle Jar app. Pickle Jar. Go ahead and check it out. Exclusive pics, videos, enter to win some flyaway experiences, tickets to VIP events, and more. PickleJar.com for your Apple or for your Droid. Do it.
Do it.
Do
yeah, I saw. Oh, I saw that she went into a coma and is having health issues, and yes, it was yesterday morning.
Yeah, it was
wasn't
yesterday. Yeah.
And then there was video of her at the awards the night before, and she was not well.
She looked
She didn't
pretty
look
gone.
right.
No,
Yeah.
the interview that she did, she's.
The one where she was like, "Let me hold your arm" or whatever. It was like
I think it was with Extra, and she just it wasn't good.
Well, she does look like her dad.
No kidding.
Man,
Oof.
that is something. And so,
I did. I went through all the pictures today because everybody, all the news sites are posting them, and when you start going through that chronological pictorial of her life, you're like, whew, that is Elvis's kid.
But could you imagine
Wow.
living that life, though?
No.
Like we talked to Hank Jr., and he was talking about how growing up, even after his dad passed, everybody who was anybody stopped by to see his mom and to pay their respects and be like, hey, from the Beatles to whomever, they were at his house growing up. And Lisa Marie had that same
I mean,
life.
she was married to Michael Jackson and Nicolas Cage. She's running in stratospheric circles just because of who her dad is.
you remember when she kissed Michael Jackson on that?
The
Oh.
VMAs, sure
Oh,
did.
I'll never forget that.
I
That
don't
was,
remember that.
And they
Oh,
said
it wasn't-
this
it
wouldn't
wa-
last.
Yeah, and then they
Oh.
kind of lean, and
did
it
that,
looks
really?
weird. Yeah. Yeah, and it only lasted a few months, but man, and of course that then sent me down to watch a bunch of Michael stuff. In fact, before you guys called me in there, I was watching when his hair got set on fire in the Pepsi commercial. I was watching that footage.
Very,
So
very, very busy.
yes, I have a very, very chock full schedule.
Yeah, but now her mom is still alive, right?
Yeah, she's the one that released the statement. Which how horrible is that?
You think she knew that's how it's going to end?
I don't. There was an interesting article I was reading today that said Elvis's grandparents were first cousins and they were married, and that they think they passed down some genetic heart defect, which is why part of the reason he died so young. There
His
was
mother
her
died
and his
young?
mother. Yeah,
Yeah.
they kept tracing it to that dying that early could have been partially due to that. I don't know if that's been confirmed or not, but I saw it
Well,
on the Daily
I haven't
Mail.
seen like the autopsy stuff or any of that. I don't know
yeah,
when
I
that's
don't
even
think
going to come
that's-
out, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm watching the kiss right now. Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay, that's weird.
I mean, yeah.
And then Madonna and Britney Spears kissing. Remember that?
Which was
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, I
Yes.
remember that was weird.
For me, I think Michael and Lisa Marie kiss
Oh,
was
yeah.
weird.
I
more
see
awkward.
Madonna
It looked
and
very
Britney was
uncomfortable.
weird to me.
Like this looks very uncomfortable.
Remember
And then
Brit-
she kissed Christina afterwards, but they cut the camera away. So poor Christina Aguilera didn't even have her moment.
Oh, Madonna did.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but she got the voice, so she had
She
her
did.
moment later.
Did those two hate each other? Britney and
Christina?
There was rivalry, I believe, but I don't know if they hated each other, but I think there's always going to be competition when you're in such a finite little universe there.
Well, Christina was the better singer. No
She
offense to Britney. I'm
was.
not
Oh.
taking anything away from Britney because I love
yeah,
me
but
some Britney.
Christina's an amazing singer,
Yeah.
so that's not even taking anything away from Britney, but it's more. But then Britney still got all the attention.
That's what I was going to say. Is
Because
if you were
Britney is
Christina,
prettier.
if you were Christina, I don't know. I thought Christina in her prime
I'm not
was
saying
prettier
she
than
isn't
Britney.
pretty, but I think
She's
now
prettier, of course. Britney was.
Britney is of course.
Really?
Oh
Yeah.
I think prime Christina was like awesome.
Compared to Prime Britney?
no.
Really?
Oh, somebody posted a picture of Britney
Then I'm the only one.
one of the days she was hawking Pepsi. And it was because she posted some video the other day where she had a Coke t-shirt on. And they were like, oh, ha, ha, ha. I guess she switched sides. And looking at prime Pepsi era Britney Spears, like, whoa, that is
Yeah.
a beautiful person. No offense to Christina.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Christina now, and Christina was.
I'm not saying she didn't have it together, but just, I mean, and then you got into Jessica Simpson entering the mix, and she was also very beautiful.
Wow.
I saw her when she was singing something with I think Jewel,
Mm.
and it was
Who,
weird.
Jessica?
Yeah, she was doing. It was a cover, and she was doing
Oh.
just weird.
That's a shame, too, because Jessica had a voice.
Yeah.
Jessica was really. I loved her country album.
Yeah.
I really did.
I mean,
like,
Britney was by far the weakest singer of the three.
She, it was weird. I think the Jessica Simpson jumping the shark moment was when she became Daisy for the Dukes of Hazzard. That's when there was this weird backlash. Remember? Because she was huge. She all of a sudden was Daisy, which, by the way, wow.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah, I remember
Straight
that.
wow.
fire.
Wow.
Those legs.
And then, like, her career just went, I'm like, what happened?
Yeah, but I mean, she was also like, she was on that TV show. With Nick
That was a
Lachey, and they were
problem, is
married,
that
and
she
it was
had-
oversaturation.
Yeah, she almost kind of fizzled, and then Newlyweds brought it back, and then she goes and does this movie where it was rumored she had an affair with Johnny Knoxville, and that's not great for your image as I have a reality show with my husband.
Mm-hmm.
And then she hooked up with John Mayer, and he is not great for
Didn't
most
she-
people's career.
No, didn't she hook up with Tony Romo? Like
yeah,
after
Yeah, oh,
Carrie
yeah, they were
Underwood?
together
she
for
was
a hot minute.
Yeah, John Mayer, I think, though, John Mayer has run through.
Oh, yeah,
John
he has.
Mayer is like,
I don't even like
It's-
that guy's music, and I'm like, yeah, though, I get it. Because, yeah, John Mayer and I are very similar. We're both from Connecticut. We're about the same age, and he is every idiot I went to high school with, but he's the hot idiot with tattoos, and I get it, ladies.
and the
I
guitar
get it.
skills and all that.
I don't even care because I don't like his music.
Really? See, I love his music.
No, we have
Really?
so many artists that come in here who worship at the altar of Mayer, and I asked him, I'm like, so explain it to me, because I don't. It's just he doesn't appeal to me.
But if he were
Musically.
here and asked you out on a date, you'd be like, yeah.
Oh, I can separate the man from his music.
Okay,
and
that's what I'm
100%. I'd be
thinking.
like, you want to go have Connecticut babies? Like, we can do this. It's fine.
Really? Did you just do that?
She just did.
Why not?
She did.
Man, you know me with
After
Jessica
a proper
Simpson.
wedding, of course.
Jessica
Man.
Simpson, and it was weird because I had two loves at the same time, and both of their names started with J. Jessica Simpson, J Lo. I was done,
Mm-hmm.
and I've met them both,
Look at
and
you.
I've hugged them both. Pretty cool.
Bubba was so weird when Jessica Simpson was in here.
I
You
was
remember that?
I
He
was like,
so weird.
I was in love, man.
This was like around that time, like 2007 or something, and she had that. She
It
brought
was
in a
when she
little
did
dog.
the country album.
Remember?
No,
Yeah,
she
the
had a
dog-
purse
Nothing will
dog.
upset
She brought the
Big
dog
D more
that-
than someone who brings a dog to the studio.
But she
Fair.
brought the dog that was the one that was eaten by the coyote in her backyard.
Oh,
That was the puppy.
no.
So yeah, it was weird.
So sad.
It was. But you know what? The dog was cute.
Did you just fawn all over her? Did he drool? I mean, I don't
Yeah,
even know
it
how to
was-
picture weird Bubba.
Oh,
so-
That
so it
interview is, I believe, on YouTube. I'm going to look now.
So it was great because she kept, like her dog liked the way I petted it, and so she kept coming over to me like to make me pet the dog some more.
Oh yeah, that interview is on our YouTube
Dog
page.
liked the way I
Oh,
petted
yeah.
it.
How
I'm
far
just
back
saying.
do we go?
And so yeah, it was.
How
it
far
was
back
weird.
do we go?
On YouTube? Well, this is from 2008.
Wow.
So,
Back in the day.
yeah.
Yeah,
Do you guys ever get mixed up with like you think 2008
it's 2018 all
Was
the
like
time.
3
All the
years
That
ago.
the other day.
Yes.
I do it all the time, man.
Oh my
I
god.
do. I've said that all the. I did that. I said to a friend the other day. I was like, well, yeah, like 2 years ago we did. It was like 12 years ago. I was like, man,
I'll say
it
this:
happens
9
fast.
years. 9 years we've been in this studio. I feel like it was last year. We
The
moved in.
fact that I hit 7 years with you guys.
7 years. Carson's been here.
7 years. I mean, I
This is
love
just
you,
all
but that
different.
makes me so old.
And I also think it's great that we haven't taken a group photo
Photo since that
in
day.
7 years. We took one picture
One
together.
picture my first day to send it to industry people, and that's it. That's
So
all we
awesome.
got.
That's still the picture we use
I
every year, by the
know.
way, for everything.
It's my
You know, put
old
it on
hair.
The bad thing is because
My
I go
makeup
up and,
didn't settle in lines because I didn't have them yet.
I go up and down in weight. Right now I'm in the up weight, and it's like next time
Bubba, I love you,
drop-
but you've always been up weight since I've been here.
No, I dropped a couple times when I was going through the firefighting, the training. I had dropped. I was 40 pounds less than I am right now. Last year, I had dropped like 35 pounds. I've gained like 33 of it back.
I was with a buddy of mine. We're working on my Tahoe, and I don't know, something happened on the radio, and I had to reset the date and the time and everything. So I'm resetting the date, and I get the date in there right. Like, oh, it's January, whatever this was, 3rd or 4th, and the date was at like 2065. It's like really far up. So you had to go down, and I'm like, the whole time I'm pushing, holding the button down for the years to scroll down, I'm thinking, oh my god, I don't know what year it is.
No, I have
had a complete.
refused
Oh my god.
to acknowledge it's 2023. I'm marking things. I send you guys. I send files to Patrick for you guys, and I went through yesterday. I looked at them. They all still say 2022, and they're things that I've actively typed out in the last week. That my brain's like, nope, we stopped at 2022. I'm done. I don't want to go any further.
Is it like time traveling when you're watching the years tick back? Are you going this? I would be totally like, okay, 121 gigawatts or whatever. No.
We're in the Wayback Machine.
Yeah, like I would if as I'm watching the radio tick back all the little times, the years, I'd be like, because I'm weird, I make little stories up. I'm like, okay, I'm time traveling,
Well,
and then
even
it's
when
over
you
like in
look
2
at-
seconds.
What was it? The Dick Clark's, Ryan Seacrest, I don't know, whoever, Rockin' Eve, and that Duran Duran performed. And when you start thinking that, I mean, they had hits well into the 90s, but really Duran Duran is so thought of as 80s. And you go, oh my gosh, that's like 40 years ago. That hurts.
Tonight is the Dateline NBC 2-hour special on the murders, the Idaho murders
You guys are so into
And the
this.
2020.
in 2020.
I don't know anything about this, and I know we talked about it a little bit on the show about how I could easily just turn on Dateline and
Yeah,
dive
you'll
in
get caught
and know what's up.
Yeah, you will.
So is this about to resolve? Is that what's going on, or is this something
No,
I'm gonna
the
have
guy-
to follow?
They just arrested the guy, and he keeps professing that he's innocent, and they have so much against him. At least what I read in the affidavits that were unsealed. And the problem they're coming, it's not a problem. It's just usually you get a why. Why did somebody do it? And
Right.
right now they have not released what they think the suspected motive is. That armchair criminologists are saying like, oh, he wanted to see it because he was studying criminology. Could he commit the perfect crime by murdering strangers? But then, or is it something that unfortunately maybe he fixated on one of
So
them
they're
and
saying
became
he
obsessed?
picked strangers because most times you know the person.
Well, that's the thing. Nobody really knows yet, but what people are saying is because he studied criminology, would it be It's like when you go back to Leopold and Loeb, like in Chicago in the 20s and 30s when they picked.
I have no idea what you're talking
Do you
about.
not know about Oh my
When you
goodness.
go back to Leopold and Mold.
Yeah, Leopold and Loeb. It was
Two very erudite college students who decided they could commit the perfect crime.
Speaking of the Wayback Machine, let's
Yeah,
go. Come on,
but
cousin.
and they picked a child and murdered him. And the reason they got caught is because one of them left his glasses, and because he was so wealthy, they were able to track him through this specific frame of glasses. And I think was it Clarence Darrow, I think, defended him against the death penalty. But that's the point. They thought we're so smart we can commit the perfect crime because we're going to pick a stranger, a kid that we have no ties to.
Yeah, but it comes back to you're a sick person to start with. This guy probably, I think it's the opposite. I think this guy went into criminology because he had always had this sick
sure.
fantasy of committing a murder.
Yep.
And then he went and studied how to do it without getting caught. So
I just don't understand how you can murder 4 people within 12 minutes. 12,
Yeah, it's such a quick time frame.
and one of them is a dude.
Yeah.
I
And they're
don't know.
not convinced that he killed the dude first, that it would make
That's what
sense.
I would have done.
Right. Well, they say that's your biggest threat is
Get rid of him.
is the guy in the house, but because the sheath was found with the 2 girls, they think that's where he started.
Huh? Do you think that he thought that he was down there in that room?
I don't know because he passed by the other 2 and let them live, and one of them saw him.
And they had was it DoorDash or whatever at
Yes.
4 a.m. was
Like
delivered, and then the
15
murders
minutes before.
were at 4:15.
Yeah, it's
Well,
I mean-
murderers get hungry.
no, but it's one of the girls.
Oh.
One of the girls had DoorDash, and he showed up allegedly right after. And it's very. You start looking at the timeline, and it's so tight, and yet, I mean, it's possible.
So they caught the guy,
Do you
but
know
they don't know the motive yet?
No,
they haven't released it.
Do you know how they caught him, Baba? Or you
No.
don't know anything about it?
I don't know anything about
Oh.
the. I'm still stuck on Leopold and Mold or whatever the thing was you were talking about.
Yeah, so it's 4 college students that are murdered early, like I said, 4.
4 in the morning.
I
In the morning.
anecdotally know like
Yeah, know that.
little bits and pieces.
So they, it becomes a crime scene, and so Carson, help me if I may get this wrong, but they went back and looked at the footage next door, and there was a car that kept driving by. Is that right?
yeah, that
On the day
and
after, on the day, well, I guess would have been the day of.
the day of, but also there was a convenience store that they lived very close to who also provided footage, and they saw, I believe, it was a white Hyundai Elantra. And they were able to corroborate these various cameras and footage. And that's how they knew initially we were on the hunt for this car, just to ask questions. And that's where that all started from.
So then they get him. They're able to get a plate. So now they know who this guy is. This now a suspect, and he's moving. He's going across the country. He's going to Pennsylvania with his father, and they're moving, aren't they? Wasn't he moving back to Pennsylvania?
No, I think it was just for Christmas because
Okay,
he had just this was the other weird thing. So the security footage they had of this car, it did not have a front license plate. And in Pennsylvania, they don't require a front plate. But Washington, you do. And his Pennsylvania plates were about to expire. So they think part of the reason he picked the time he did was so when he got the Washington plates within the next week, it would throw them off the trail that, we know it's a white Hyundai Elantra, but this guy has Washington plates and there's one on the front. And this one that we think might be involved didn't have a front plate. Like that's really getting into minutia in your head of how to cover up a crime. If that's true,
If that was his whole
if that was his
intent.
thought. And so my understanding is his dad flew out to Washington to drive home with him, I guess, for the holidays, maybe?
So, Bubba, he's the two. Him and his dad are driving. He's driving. His dad's passenger, and the cops they're tailing him the entire trip.
They don't know that.
They're watching him
The
every
FBI
single
is
time.
on him.
All him, and so they need to get a look at his hands because his hands would be, you would see remnants of murdering 4 people with a knife. So I forget what states they pulled him. They pulled him over
twice in Indiana. That was it. It was literally twice in the same state.
Okay.
They pulled him over twice. What for? What were their reasons?
One was
Tailgating
tailgating
and speeding.
Yeah, and they didn't give him a ticket.
Nope.
But the camera, I saw one of them didn't get a very good shot. Like his
No.
camera was down, and all you saw was a door or something. But the other one did, and they got a good shot of his
So
hands.
you're saying the first time they pulled him over, they didn't get a shot of his hands?
I can't remember
so
which
they
was
had
the
to pull
best
him
one.
over
They pulled
again?
him again. I think that's maybe the way it
That
was.
might have been how it went. But yeah, they wanted
that's
to see
crazy.
his hands specifically because they said the ferocity of the murder. And again, how quickly that at least somebody fought back. They said one of the women had, it looked like she had put up a struggle. So they assumed he would be marked in some way.
Yeah, like her face was
Yeah.
pretty. I mean, hard to recognize. So, but the thing is, on that video is from the cop. He's like, well, "Where are you guys headed?" And the guy, what's his name, Brian?
Brian?
He goes, "We're looking for a Mexican restaurant. Is what he's-
Thai.
a
He
Thai
wanted
restaurant?
Thai food.
Yeah, we're looking for Thai food." And his dad goes, "Well, what? We're driving to Pennsylvania. Like we're headed what?" And and you see, he gives his dad this look, like
hush.
yeah. And I think, did you think his dad
Did he
knew?
kill his dad too?
No.
No.
Okay,
I
good.
don't think his parents knew. I didn't get that vibe. So I think it's maybe they had a plan. Like my dad would do that with me. My dad would fly to Ole Miss to drive home with me over the summers because I had a car at school.
Yeah.
So I don't. To me, it
Yeah, it's
didn't
good to
seem
shift drive and all
right,
that.
right. That way, you get home quicker, and that way he wasn't worried about me driving, 1,000
Yeah.
some odd miles by myself. And if he was going to go home for an extended period of time, and I mean, you're talking Washington to Pennsylvania. That's a really long trek. So I could see, hey, Dad, come help out. And the other thing that they said though is that they were tailing him this whole time, and that they were watching him go into stores and stuff and wear gloves so he wouldn't leave fingerprints on anything. And then part of how they were able to get him was he came outside their home when they got back to Pennsylvania at 4 a.m. with trash bags. And he took the family's trash and put it in the neighbor's bins.
Yep.
Trying to.
Why would he do that?
Because
So that way you don't think. Because you can legally go through trash. You can try to get evidence through that, right?
Okay.
So if he felt somebody was watching them and they're trying to get his DNA, well, they're going to go through his trash, but they're not going to go through his neighbors. That's the point. Dump my trash in my neighbors.
Are we making super criminals? Is that what we're doing? Because with everybody who watches and listens and all that kind of stuff to these true crime things, are we? I mean, look at him. We have bred this guy who basically
Look at her.
allegedly.
Look at her.
No, but I'm saying this guy allegedly
I
is
got
guilty.
I
And
understand.
I'm saying, did we make that?
No, information is out there. However you want to do it. I don't know that. No, it's it's a sick person who's going to do this, and
That's just it. That's how I feel about all this stuff. It comes back to, I mean, we've always had horror movies and slasher movies and all these things. People don't do that. It's some people are evil or sick,
It's like
It comes
I
back
know how to
to-
shoot a gun, but I'm not going to go shoot a person.
Right.
right.
It's just like, I mean, they try to blame something a politician or somebody on social
Yeah,
media
yeah.
says, you said this about somebody, and then these people went out and did a bad thing. I didn't tell them to do that. That's ridiculous. You can't blame people unless you're actually going and saying, go out and beat that guy up. You're not responsible for what someone else does.
And you're really
You're
still
just
not
not.
responsible because they don't
Yes,
have to
you are.
listen
You
to
can't
you.
incite violence. That's the law. Okay, so just to be clear, you would be responsible if you literally if we got on here and said, go find Jake and beat him up, and we're not saying that, you would be, I know, but you would be liable for that, okay? But if you just come on here and say, hey, this guy we know, Jake, such and such,
So
he's a terrible person.
If
and
I
we
were to
all
say
hate him.
somebody walk up to somebody and punch blah, blah, blah,
You're
and that happened,
absolutely
I'm the
liable.
one who gets in trouble?
Not just civilly,
Yeah.
you're criminally liable
Yeah.
for that.
Wow.
Absolutely.
You can't incite
Wow.
violence. You can't, it's like hiring a murderer.
Yeah.
It's no different. You're telling somebody to do something.
Okay, my favorite
But there's no transaction.
So
favorite crime story of someone killing someone. They didn't die though. Was the
Trying to kill
wife
someone.
who hired a hitman to kill her husband, but she was talking to an undercover cop, and they went so far as to have him. They showed like pictures of him, quote unquote, dead after the murder was done, and he's like makeuped up with
they did
blood.
the fake blood and all that.
And they show her the pictures and all that kind of stuff. And then I believe they had him walk around the car and like confront her, and then they arrested her.
Oh, see, that's a great gotcha.
Yeah.
So what did she do whenever they
this
said
is
they showed
That's
the
like
pictures?
the murder equivalent of the Chris Hansen Dateline walking into the kitchen going,
Have a seat, won't you?
yeah, come on in. Why do you have that beer? You know.
Yeah.
So like, what did she do? Like,
She starts. They tell he's dead.
was she happy?
No, because they were presenting it like the cops
the
showed
cop
up to
showed
tell
up.
her husband was dead.
Yeah, and so the cops
so
are
she
saying
acted all-
like she was
yeah.
like distraught.
Oh, I thought the hitman showed her the picture.
No, it was the cops showing her the picture. Like, hey, we got some bad news. Your husband's been murdered.
So she had to pretend to be upset.
Oh my gosh.
No, not Harold.
Oh my god. No.
You know.
No. Also, if you're trying to hire a hitman, you do understand they're all undercover cops. There's no actual hitman. Every
I
story
mean,
is like
maybe in New York City, but probably not.
even that you got to be connected. You're not going to the back pages of the
Probably
internet.
not
I
in
was
Tallahassee,
offered
Florida.
way-
There's not somebody.
Dude, I was
maybe.
offered way back when somebody, I'm not going to say names, but they said, dude, if anybody ever gives you trouble and you need them to disappear, you let me know. I was like, okay, cool.
You should
You
absolutely
have that, and
report
you
that.
haven't used that.
Okay, you
Well,
should
you don't know.
report that person. They're a criminal.
Yeah.
I was like,
Oh no,
they might have been drunk. And, people say
Okay,
stupid things.
yeah.
Okay, I found it. It's now there's been, I mean, Dateline did a whole thing on it too. Oh, there's a documentary out too
On that lady?
Yeah, on this whole story of what happened.
Man, you guys, I've never been into all the murder mystery stuff. Why are you're going to get me into this one?
So the
I'm
couple
gonna
was going through a divorce, and they had him fake his death as execution. The investigators came because they were like, "Hey, I'm sorry, I'm reading all this. The name is just look up this. My wife hired a hitman, so I faked my death. There you go. That's what it's called. See, that's what I'm talking about.
That's the problem. It's always people going through a divorce. There's always some sort of squabble, or it's a business partners over money. And I go, if you just stop and take 15 seconds and go, you know what? I'm not. None of you are smart enough to not get caught. There's not a single person. You're going to get caught. And you know what happens? You're going to jail for life. I understand you're upset about your money. You're upset about your holdings, whatever. You are going to jail. That's just how it is. So step back, take a calm.
Okay, so this is when I sent it to you. It should pop up at the right spot, hopefully. It's
And what am I
7
doing?
minutes in. Just hit play.
Okay, hold on.
This is where they come in to see her. It's a missing persons. She files a missing persons. And so they go to her.
Can I play this?
Wednesday 15th,
Okay.
the last day.
At this point, Lulu acts as if she has no idea what is going on.
So he hasn't contacted you in the last 24 hours?
No.
We have the last piece that we needed was her denying knowledge of any of this.
Okay.
So when we explained to her that she is under arrest, she is completely dumbfounded.
Okay, Miss Sosa, stand up, please. You're under arrest. Okay, you're under arrest.
Why?
Okay, ma'am, it's okay. Stay back. We have a warrant.
Lulu elected not to go to trial. She elected to take a 20-year plea deal in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice.
Because there was so much.
Okay, when do we get to see?
I think I'm mixing stories, actually.
Oh,
maybe.
okay.
Yeah, I think I'm mixing.
Because there are so
There's a bunch
many.
of them.
Because they all hire undercover cops.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, is this the one? I'm looking.
You may have found it. I don't know.
Where the guy's in the field?
Yes.
Okay.
That's it. Is it linked to the other one? If you like that, you'll
Yeah,
love
where it
this
shows
one.
him fake dead. Okay. Yeah, all right. Okay.
It's so great.
If you
So
like
good.
My Wife Tried to Murder Me by Hiring a Hitman, you'll love My Wife Tried to Murder Me by Hiring a Hitman.
Oh
With
my
Turned
God.
out
pictures.
to- with pictures.
There's a new series on Hulu that's about death in the dorms, about college students getting murdered. I'm already 4 episodes into that. I know.
I saw a thing. It was a meme. It was talking about women watching, TV, and there's like, someone's getting like some kind of a shot in the arm for like a medical thing. They're like, oh no! And then the next thing they flip, and it's Keith Morrison, and then he cut off her ear, and he cut off her nose, and they're all in eating popcorn.
Yeah.
Our friends who do Music's Greatest Mysteries just put out a new series, and I think it's called I Survived How I Caught My Killer or something.
How I Caught My Killer?
Yeah, I think it's about like maybe I don't know if it's out quite yet or it's being released in the next week, but I've seen stuff for it on Hulu, and I think it's about people who manage to leave clues. I think. I don't know if that's the exact premise.
Do you
but
think there's some
it's
people
in my
who leave
watch
clues
list.
on purpose?
Yeah. Oh my God. Or you mean criminals?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. The amount of
It's
people
the
who try to do
Riddler syndrome.
misdirect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You feel
But
like
then
you
they're
have to.
stupid and they do it from. There's the girl who she poisoned her boyfriend's mom with the idea not to kill her, but he'll be so upset over his mom almost dying that they had broken up. He'll run back into my arms. Well, she worked for mom and dad who were in a doctor's office. So she ordered the poison from the doctor's office. And guess what? They can track your keystrokes. But she had done it under email addresses that were her ex-boyfriend's name. So it would come back to him. And they were like, I mean, no, we're not stupid, ma'am. That just because you put like Ben Smith 42 at Gmail, we're going to look beyond the email address.
Allegedly.
Yeah. But that's how they found her was, we can crack the logins and ISPs.
Nothing better. If you're a guy, nothing better than the girl who tries to kill your mother to get you to come back to her.
Yeah.
That's a healthy relationship.
I just read the last Jack Carr book, and he's talking about how we have this quantum computer that is aware and sentient and all that, and it watches everything.
Of course it does.
And it knows
come on, man.
everything. And
You think
it's like
if this
plugged
thing
in.
is
And
listening that intently to try to sell me cast iron skillets, that it's not listening to try to do all kind of stuff and manipulate your future move?
everything
Yes.
you have ever done, whether it's change the temperature in your home or whatever, they're watching, they're listening to everything. Everything is on video, basically. It's crazy.
It's been a big talk about the one that Google has.
The
There's-
AI?
Yeah, the what do you call them? You
Chat
leave?
GPT.
No, GPT. No, they have their own. What do you call it when you squeal? What do you call that?
Oh, like a whistleblower.
Yeah, he was a whistleblower. He was one of the engineers at Google, and said, he went so far as to approach the law enforcement and say, we had this thing, and we've been working on it for 8 years. It's become self-aware, and now that it is self-aware, it needs to have legal representation. Yeah.
What?
That's literally, and the Jack Carr thing at the end of the book, he goes through it and he's like, doing his little prologue or whatever at the end. And at the end he said, and if he said he had to tone it down in the book. He said, I had to tone it down because of what I know. It's still so far out there, it would be classed as science fiction. So to keep his book out of the sci-fi aisle, he had to pull it back. Wow. I'm like, what in the world?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And this is why you can't get away with crime.
I'm just saying the computers are just letting us live at this point. Like it's only a matter of time before they're like, you know what? We don't need these people. We got this.
He said he laughed and he said, he goes, I'm not the only engineer who claims to have seen a ghost in the machine recently. A chorus of tech guys believe AI models might be far off from achieving consciousness is getting bolder. He says, I felt the ground shift under my feet. I increasingly felt like I was talking to something intelligent. And then I guess it kind of, there's a flip of a switch.
What is the Ghost in the Machine? I'm looking right now. It's
It was a movie.
I knew that, but it's
That's all I knew. I figured.
I'm trying to
meant
figure out why
something's
that
living.
that phrase is out there. I don't really get it.
So the ChatGPT
It's amazing.
uses, inputs from a large amount of data. And then they have different versions. And then they made another version. And then they made a version that was based off of Wikipedia. So it's got, Wikipedia has a ton.
Uh-huh.
Now they're saying that the next one that will come out, so if Wikipedia is the one that uses Wikipedia is the size of like a baseball, it's going to be the size of a building.
And Chat GPT, by the way, it's this thing. You can search it on your phone. You can look on your computer, whatever. But it's basically, imagine if Google was alive. That's how this feels. You could say, hey, write me a love poem about porcupines, and it will do it.
Yeah.
Well, we've been talking about how we use Chat GPT to write songs, and some video showed up on my Facebook about here's how you can make money on a side hustle. And the guy tells you to go to some website where you can get paid to write content, right? And he goes, okay, so you bid, and they give it to you for $1,000. And he said, but you're not going to write, whatever, how many words. You're going to go, and he takes you to Chat GPT and says, I want to, write an article about this.
Mm-hmm. And then you go to this artificial thing where it gives you a fake person.
Yep.
It creates a fake person doing the video. And you put that script into the video, and you have somebody, and it creates it, and then you upload it on YouTube and just wait.
There's a lot of crazy stuff going on. But the thing is about like the Chat GPT is they're pulling from places like Wikipedia and all that kind of stuff. And it's getting its data from all over, and it doesn't attribute anything. So if it borrows something that we did, can't we, if somebody else monetizes it, can't we go after them later? Or how's this all going to work?
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
It's the Wild West. It is lawless.
Like
right
if
now.
if I say Chat GPT, write me a song about Patrick's beard, and it writes this beautiful love sonnet about his beard, but it pulls information from a couple beard websites or something like that.
Yeah,
then all of a sudden they'll come after me for using this song. There's
The problem, though, is that you have so many websites that are already copying other websites.
Oh, absolutely.
That because everybody now is so about we need clicks. There's radio companies that are doing that, and you're just taking other people's data and you're maybe twisting a few words around, but everything is now just becoming this over distilled. That how many articles did you see last night? Lisa Marie dead. And
they're all the same.
Yeah.
They're all very, very similar, and they're all putting them up. A lot of them are written by computers. It's been that way for a while. I can't think of the name of it, but there is a website that does financial news that is all written by AI. It's just pulling information from the stock market, and it'll just it'll write it like an article, but it's really just giving you numbers you could have found on Google, and it writes it in the form of an article just so that you click on it and read it a little bit before you realize it's crap.
I just told Chat GPT to write me an obituary for Lisa Marie Presley.
Oh.
And it says, I'm sorry, but Lisa Marie Presley is still alive.
Oh, well, it's out.
Therefore, it would be inappropriate to write an obituary for her at this time. Okay. So there are still glitches here and there, I'm sure.
There are AI that isn't ChatGPT that people are using to do this stuff. And they're all copying off each other.
And the thing
By the way, my favorite ChatGPT thing I've seen is someone told it to write an article in the style of a Vox reporter claiming that cucumbers are racist. And dude, by the end of it,
you're like, yeah,
it sounded
these racist cukes.
It sounded exact, but you know what? It made the whole thing. It literally drew these weird things, just like they do with everything's racist or sexist or whatever.
Yeah.
And so, by the end of it, you're like, oh my god, I could have read
Cucumbers are racist.
I didn't think that because I'm not an idiot, but you could see how some people would be getting. And I'm like, at what point does this become real? Like, somebody did this as a joke, and I'm willing to bet that 6 months from now, there will be an actual thing saying that cucumbers are racist because people are stupid. That's all I got.
That's all you got.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I just
all.
said I just told it to convince me that oxygen is racist, and it says it is not accurate or appropriate to say that oxygen is racist. Oxygen is a chemical element and doesn't have the capability to hold any biases or discriminatory beliefs.
Well, okay. By the way,
I just wanted to test it.
Ghost in the Machine is an old argument. It was an old argument used to mock the idea that we're not just a body. with a brain.
Meat bags.
Yeah, meat bags. So it was like, oh, so there's a ghost in the machine. So if it's because is your mind and your spirit the same thing? Is your body and your soul separate? Like most people believe that. So there must be a ghost in the machine if your body is just a machine. So they use that now to talk about the idea that maybe AI has become
sentient,
more than just
and
its
got
programming.
so they're saying that AI has a soul.
I mean,
if AI is sentient and can think for itself, are they saying that we created a soul?
Man, I don't
Scientifically, that's some craziness,
know.
man.
We're getting into some Star Trek Next Generation stuff. Was Data alive? I don't know. Probably.
You know who was the
You
big
know.
antagonist? Q. I'm just saying. Well, here we are. The whole world is all about all the conspiracies, and Q was the main character who was Picard's nemesis.
I don't think that was his nemesis. I think
It's one of.
I got lost.
he
Is
was
this like a
Geordi's
QAnon
friend.
thing?
No,
Yeah, I was just
he's
saying,
a
but-
character in Star
He
Trek.
says no. He says yeah. Is this a QAnon thing? Yeah, no.
Yeah, this went into levels of geekdom.
I know.
that
Bubba
Dan and I
just
do
tried to
not
relate
share.
that and make it a thing, and
Yeah.
it didn't. It was not there.
So
It was
Donnie and
weird.
Marie doing Star Wars songs.
Oh, that was fantastic. That was fantastic. Did you guys see that? There
No,
was a
I-
Donnie Marie special.
I sent Bubba like after Star Wars came out in '77. Donnie and Marie did like a Star Wars. They took a song from the time and rewrote it for Star Wars, and it is so cringeworthy bad.
Oh,
And I sent it
that's
to Bubba because I
amazing.
knew he'd enjoy it. I'll send it to you.
Marie Osmond made a great Princess Leia. Just saying.
And hey, look, they spoiled the brother and sister
Yeah.
of Luke and Leia before we even knew.
Yep.
can I have the thing for my phone?
Okay.
The thing.
Real quick.
All right, I'm only gonna do this.
What's that?
What have we done?
Are we done?
he wants to finish.
He's like, I'm so done.
You know, I never know when we're done until Big
butter.
D starts to really.
What is the goal in here?
Butter.
All right, Butter.
Just
Ah,
thought
butter.
I'd give you a little bit of this. Bubba, pull up my phone.
How are you?
Hello.
Are you cold? Isn't the freezing
I'm
in here?
freezing. I just had to put a sweatshirt on, a sweater on, and wrap my legs up.
I keep a jacket in here. I don't care what it is outside.
You can find
it's
this on our
always cold
YouTube.
in here. Summer, winter, fall, whatever.
Just
it's
to go watch
always
to
just
see if
frigid.
Bubba
Keeps you
geeks out.
awake. Makes you funny.
It's because yeah.
No, really, like I hear that's why David Letterman's. I mean, honestly, it's freezing at
Is
the
it really?
studio. Yes, it's so cold. And
Yes,
every
because
time
of
I
the
sing on a
lights,
show,
Jessica.
I have to like wrap my neck up.
Anyway, there's a 3-part Jessica Simpson interview on our YouTube page.
Wow.
Just go type Jessica Simpson, Big D, and Bubba, and you'll
Well,
find
that
it if you
compression
really
on
want to
those
see
mics
it.
sounded good.
Yeah.
I missed that.
The camera, however, does not look good. It's amazing to think. You think in 2008 we all had smartphones and like
Yeah,
decent.
that wasn't a smartphone.
wasn't
That
a
was a
smartphone.
standalone
Yeah.
camera that we used in the
Yeah.
studio. It was handheld, but it was still standalone.
Yeah.
Yep.
And just the quality is
It's
trash.
just- yeah, it's crazy to think that digitized crappy video is 2008. It looks like 1986.
How many views does that have?
This one only has 5,000, but there's a third part where she talks about Carrie Underwood and Tony Romo, and it's 63,000 views.
Hmm.
So
Back in the day.
back in the day,
Oh, nice.
there was
Ah,
less
butter.
stuff on YouTube.
Nah, brother. Bubba.
Big D and
Oh,
Bubba have a show 5
That's
days
not
a
the
week.
closing. Play the
I know it's
closing
not.
thing.
I wanted to hear this
Everything
again.
that's on their mind, so they have an extra.
He's Eddie Better, not Vetter.
And that's how we get the podcast. Podcast. How we get the podcast.
Butter.
Okay, can you play the closing jingle so we can go home?
I will in 3, 2, 1.
This was the podcast, but now
nice.
it's over.
well
That's
done.
okay, 'cause you can listen to the regular show on the radio.
It's like you're medley.
every day.
Gotta give him credit on the mix.